Great. So thank you so much. Welcome everybody to Storybrook. My name is Kelsey Garcia-Abdin, and I have a background in project management for international development organizations.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Alex Sansolo, and I have a background in architecture and theater design.
Hello, I'm Kaitlyn Graf, and my background's in interior design. So we wanted to solve two problems when thinking about reinventing the water park. The first being theming. We wanted to do something that we hadn't seen done before, so we decided to stick our water park in the middle of an enchanted forest. And second, and probably most importantly, we wanted to focus on accessibility. It's something very near and dear to my heart. I have a sister with special needs. And when I was thinking about reinventing the water park, I realized that I didn't really ever go to a water park as a kid. And that was because if she would have came, there was nothing that she could have done with me. And so at Storybrook, we wanted to eliminate this problem by focusing on the story-driven elements to make an immersive experience that everyone can enjoy.
So Storybrook is really committed to providing a welcoming, safe, and memorable experience for all guests. So in order to achieve that, we offer a ride accessibility and sensory guide and corresponding signage throughout the park so that guests can really evaluate the physical and mental attributes that are required to safely ride each ride or engage with each attraction. Harmony ambassadors can also be found at every attraction and throughout the park to provide additional support for guests. And these ambassadors receive special training in a variety of areas to help address the needs of guests. And then they also provide additional inclusive services that guests might need, such as water wheelchairs, ambulatory water walkers, assistive listening devices, etc. And so these services are really available to enhance each guest's experience in Storybrook, whatever their needs might be. And we also have quiet rooms, low sensory areas, and then of course restrooms as well that can all be accessed in the village. We did a lot of research on SeaWorld's offerings, which include a sensory guide and ride accessibility program. And in the interest of reinvention, we really wanted to take this to the next level because we know that accessibility and sensory information must go hand in hand with immersive storytelling to create unforgettable experiences for all of our guests. So as we present each attraction today, we will show you the accompanying sensory guide that is associated with it.
So when we first decided to jump in and create a fantasy-themed water park, we all kind of worked together to collect reference images and create mood boards for the emotion and the experience that we wanted to create. So here is a sample of the collection of reference imagery that we have curated to show you the feeling of what Storybrook will feel like. As you can see here, Storybrook will take on a whimsical and calming forest feel that has just a splash of adventure if you look hard enough.
You are now about to embark on an exciting journey into an enchanted forest filled with wonder and surprises that will delight you. Here at Storybrook, your favorite fairy tale creatures live together in harmony. You can float along a babbling brook with fairy friends, explore mysterious castle ruins and thrilling waterfalls, ride waves like a real-life mermaid, and even venture into a dragon's lair. Everyone is welcome at Storybrook, and our Harmony ambassadors are eager to greet and assist you. We invite you to join us inside, activate your imagination, and live your own fairy tale. So today we are going to follow the Andersons' journey through Storybrook. This family consists of mom, dad, and 2 kids, each with their own distinct interests and abilities. Big brother Kai is quiet and timid. He also requires a wheelchair to get around. Meanwhile, his little sister Gerda is more adventurous and thrill-seeking, and she's always trying to pull her big brother along with her.
So upon arrival, this is the first thing that the Andersons are going to see, which is the entrance to Storybrook. Once they enter down the cobblestone paths and under the Storybrook arch, their fairy tale adventure has officially begun. Inside the gate, they will find a few small shops where they can pick up sunscreen or anything else that they might have forgotten to bring with them, as well as lock up any valuable items in lockers, and we'll have accessible lockers as well, so that they can keep their items there that they don't want to carry with them during their adventure throughout Storybrook.
So once the Andersons are ready to start their adventure here at Storybrook, they're ready to explore, they're ready to get on rides, they're ready to have fun. So looking to take the most direct route through the park, to keep walking, and to a minimum, the family decides to make a clockwise loop around the park. Gerda, the daughter, is ready for adventure, and the first thing that she spies is Dragon Ridge, a high-speed water coaster. She runs up to the entrance with her dad in hand and starts pulling him in the direction of joyful screaming that can be overheard. She is excited to be the hero of her own fairy tale. So here's some of our inspiration imagery for Dragon's Ridge. It is our intent to create a unique, high-speed, high-thrill water coaster, an adventure where every guest can feel immersed in the depths of a dragon's lair. Filled with watery caverns and sunken treasures, riders will travel through dark caves with sharp turns where they might even encounter a fire-breathing dragon. So as you can see here, we've also started to show our sensory guide. So you can start to see here how this attraction will start to affect your senses. And that's where you can make a decision on whether or not you feel comfortable going on this ride, or you might want to move on to the next attraction and see what that has in store for you.
So while Gerda pulls her father onto Dragon's Ridge, Kai and his mother decide to do something a bit more relaxing that will help Kai get used to his surroundings. They want to do something much more calming. So they find themselves at Lily Pond Pool, where the Harmony ambassadors assist Kai in getting in the pool through the use of the transfer chair. Some of Storybook's fairy friends grew this large, sturdy plant so that their new friends could join them in the Lily Pond. Lily Pond Pool is a perfect spot to sit back and relax. It's significantly less sensory than some of the other spots in the park and features multiple points of accessibility, such as the previously mentioned transfer chairs and zero entry options.
And then after a dip in the pool, the Andersons decide to stop by the village. Here they find fantastical shops filled with everything from enchanting treasures to scrumptious delicacies made by the Storybrook characters themselves. Both Gerda and Kai are excited to meet some residents of Storybrook during their time at the village. It's full of captivating sights, smells, and sounds. So guests looking for a quieter environment may prefer to visit the village during non-peak hours. All shops are wheelchair accessible, and package pickup is available for those that don't want to carry their items throughout the day. Food locations provide information and options for guests with special dietary needs. And then on the way out of the village, Gerda sees the crumbling castle, so the family decides to split up again. And this time, Mom runs with Gerda as she bolts over towards the abandoned castle's body slides. Mysteries await inside the ruins of the castle, where the secrets of Storybrook are kept hidden from view. And so the crumbling castle is an immersive walk/roll-through experience that leads to a series of body slides. And there's a non-slide exit that's available that allows guests to see and hear all elements of the inner castle without actually riding the body slides. Slide riders will be completely submerged in water at the end of the slide, so the Harmony ambassadors will remind guests to take this into account and select the path that is the best fit for them.
So after being able to experience crumbling castles together as a family, they all walk over to Mermaid Shores. So after a common experience at Lily Pool Pond, Kai is ready for a bit more adventure and is excited to roll into the wave pool where he can feel the water splashing against his legs. As the waves start rolling in, the family is able to play together in the wave pool while the parents lay on the beach. So Mermaid Shores is a place where mermaids come to play in the forest waterfalls and really have fun. The Andersons are able to splash in the wave pool, and even the more adventurous explorers are able to go into some of the caverns, and even if they're daring, go down one of our drop slides.
Throughout their time at Storybrook, the family has been wandering around a large willow tree that marks the center of the park. After their time playing in Mermaid Shores, they all agree it's time for something a bit more relaxing. At first, Gerda grabs an inner tube for the Babbling Brook lazy river, where she can float amongst the fairies and the grand willow tree. Gerda is devastated because she wants her big brother to be able to join her as well. The Harmony ambassadors explain to her about another option. Along with the lazy river, Storybrook also has another choice, a boat ride that requires no transfers that will take them on a similar journey through the fairy village and even to a magical cavern hidden deep beneath the grand willow tree, something that a normal lazy river doesn't even get to experience. Both Gerda and Kai are ecstatic that they get to experience this adventure together.
So when we started creating this project and designing this lazy river, we knew that it would be difficult, if not impossible, for Kai to be able to experience this lazy river with Gerda. So to solve this problem and to play on that idea of reinvention, we created the Babbling Brooks boat ride, which is a whimsical dark ride through the fairy gardens at the base of the grand willow tree, and it even ventures into some of the magical caverns deep below. Adding a dark ride to the water park is another way of reinvention, and it goes with our overall goal of creating an inclusive, immersive experience. This dark ride attempts to close the gap between storytelling and water parks.
And here's the final chapter of the Andersons' visit to Storybrook, which is under the coverage of the grand willow tree. Wanting to continue playing together, Kai and Gerda head to the Splashing Sprites, which is a splash pad designed for all dreamers and storytellers. Here, the Andersons create their own stories, playing together without limitations. So Splashing Sprites will be a wheelchair accessible splash pad that is intricately themed to help tell the story of the forest and those who live in it. Our idea is really to reinvent the splash pad into not just a stopover point for children and families, but also as a central destination point that is exciting and inclusive for all different types of people and ages. We want our splash pad to be dynamic and interactive and heavily themed to help tell the story of Storybrook. In Storybrook, all are welcome. You might see pixies, witches and warlocks, mermaids, even a dragon. So this is really a place where differences are celebrated, and the splash pad experience will reflect this with inclusive and integrated activities for everyone to enjoy. And I wanted to talk a little bit more before we finish up about what it would feel like at the splash pad from Kai's point of view. So upon arrival, he would first see a mystical and colorful forested area with a beautiful tree in the center that would serve to draw him into the space. And then as he ventures a little bit further into the splash pad itself, he'll start to see the offerings, those who are already enjoying the splash pad and its features. And this initial view is really important for us with the splash pad for accessibility, because we want our guests like Kai and others to see features that are accessible to them and other guests that look like them who are enjoying the space. So this is where the Harmony ambassadors come in again. They will extend a special invitation to play to Kai. They'll greet him and offer him services like water wheelchair or other offerings that he might need, and then invite him into play. And then he'll have an opportunity after being welcomed into this space to enter freely, explore and discover on his own, really seeing the offerings close up, taking in the colors and the sights and the sounds, even the textures that's in the splash pad. And then is kind of the meat and potatoes, where he'll have an opportunity to really interact and play and really engage with the space and interact with other guests. And our ultimate goal at Storybrook is for all of our guests to really experience joy. So we hope that Kai would have this moment of really starting to enjoy the water and just feel joyful, and like he can have fun freely alongside the other guests. So if you could see his face, you would see a huge grin from ear to ear. And that's really our ultimate goal at Storybrook.
So as the sun sets on the Andersons' adventures, we want to thank you for joining us here at Storybrook, a place where anyone can write their own fairy tale.
And then just for your reference, we have our image credits here as well at the end of our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Catherine, MK, if you have need any clarifications or have any questions, please feel free to ask.
I have a lot of questions about standards. Right, you've opened the door wide open when you said this is accessible. Like the sensory guide, is that an existing standard, or is that something you invented?
The sensory guide was mostly pulled from an existing standard that SeaWorld uses. They have an extensive sensory guide for their autism awareness and autism amongst guests at their parks, and they also have a rider accessibility program. So we pulled a lot of the rating information and also kind of advisory information that they provide to the guests on their signage from that guide as our base.
And what were sort of, I presume that you researched Morgan's Wonderland deeply?
Yeah, we also, I mean, you'll see some of our images as well are from there. But yes, we did a lot of research into.
So what were some of the most important lessons learned from Morgan's Wonderland?
For example, that was like the comment with the lockers as well. They actually did a whole case study on lockers. That there's so many little details like that get overlooked, and having enough lockers that were actually accessible and on a reachable level was really key. So that's kind of, those little details have been sort of blanketed in throughout, and that's something the Harmony advisors or Harmony ambassadors as well, having actual cast members, staff members that are readily available to address issues as they come up on the fly. And then in addition, all of the different service offerings that we've mentioned, the water wheelchairs, of course, is huge, but that's a little bit more, I think, a little bit more obvious when it comes to water parks, but something that was big is the different hearing devices to reduce or increase sound. So those have been incorporated as well.
Great, thank you.